This is The Wealth Puzzle with Michael Mansfield from the Lynn Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Michael provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is The Wealth Puzzle with Michael Mansfield.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Don't do it. Don't laugh. Don't laugh.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
I'm just happy.
This is The Wealth Puzzle with Mike and Tana. We're here to talk to you about your finances, talk to you about your retirement income planning, help you with all kinds of good stuff. But hey, Tana, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You know, hopefully it's not too much to ask.
No.
Monday morning.
It's fun.
But we're here. So how you been? How's the weather in Texas?
Good. It's beautiful.
It's gloomy here. I'm looking out the window.
We are sunshine. So
are you?
It's good.
This was the first morning where it was like it's getting darker. So I was leaving the gym at 6:30 and I'm like, normally it's bright out when I come outside. And it's finally not. That's kind of sad.
I love summer days when they're just long. I just enjoy that part of the year.
It's nice when it's sunny in the morning and you can go home and mow your lawn afterwards.
Exactly.
I like the winter for the holidays. The holidays are fun. I like the Christmas season, a little Thanksgiving and some Halloween.
Cozy up.
All that stuff. But I hate it when it's like dark at 3:45.
I agree. It's so weird. The kids are getting out of school and it's like almost dark. You're like, this is weird.
So good. Well, welcome to the party. We appreciate all of our listeners. So anybody, if you're tuning in for the first time, that we obviously do this on a podcast. We do this as a video on YouTube and Rumble. So you can log in and view us. We can be found under the Lynn Group or the Wealth Puzzle. And we got a good topic. It looks like Tana found some fascinating stuff for us to read about. So, Tana,
I did. Well,
let's get down to business.
We've got some helpful hints here because, as we're working with clients, these things come up all the time.
Okay.
But I feel like for the most part, with this experience that we've had with the pandemic, I feel like a lot of people are worried about if they're going to have to retire early. So this would be something to really think about. Like, what if you do need to retire early? What is your plan? What's plan A, B, C, D? So if you do have a worry about, unplanned retirement, there's several things that you can do now to kind of ease the transition.
What if you just want to retire early? I'm ready to
retire.
That
too. I mean, I've had other people say, you know what? It's time. I didn't think it was going to be time, but it's time.
Well, but that's so funny, right? I mean, I deal with a lot of school teachers, you know that.
Exactly.
And the experience for our older school teachers, to be fair, who don't love technology,
right,
don't like doing Zoom meetings, don't like the dysfunction of that. All of a sudden, a lot of people are thinking about retirement.
So true.
Fair, we know a lot of police officers in the last year who have decided to retire. Can't imagine why you'd not want to be a cop these days.
Right.
So things are happening in the world that are really pushing people to that sideline.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
is great because if you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, you can see here on Tana's article the picture of what retirement looks like.
Wouldn't that be awesome? I hope so.
If this is California, your permanent tent would be right there on the lawn. And
I was envisioning lake house, but you're saying tent.
No, tent, or old spray painted RV. We got a lot of those. I think they're using that stuff. What was that? That like Flex Seal stuff from the infomercial? But you can get the spray one now. It's like some of the RVs here down at Winco and Walmart, I guess. They're all covered in that stuff, which I thought was really cool because on the commercials they seal up like that glass bottom boat and it holds water. Or it doesn't hold water. I guess it keeps water out. I don't know. So
I'm not going to even go there.
All right.
But back to our topic.
Down to business. So in your article, that's what it was talking about. It was saying, hey, what, due to COVID-19, things are changing for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
So what do you got for us? What's the first thing here on the list of 10 things to do?
Well, I would say the first thing is to look at your debt and try and knock it out. Okay. Start with the smallest account that you owe on or loan that you owe on, and just start chipping away at it to start increasing your cash flow gradually. And then take one account after another and just get rid of that debt.
Well, a couple things, right? So debt is a funny thing here for us at the Lynn Group, and we're helping clients with retirement planning. We have people that come in that want to use debt. They want to get cheap loans. They want to do margin investing and stuff like that. And unfortunately, I'm just not that guy. Tana's not that gal. I'm sorry if I called you a gal and that was offensive. I don't know.
No, I'm fine with it. I'm a gal.
I don't know. I'm not here to police your thoughts. But the theme is I believe in provident living. I believe in less debt, less problems, less owe people money. I don't care how cheap the loans are. Now, granted, there's some reality to that. You know, if we can finance your new car over 5 years for 0 interest, things like that, those are temporary issues. But in the big scheme of things, you don't want to be taking out margin in your investment accounts. You don't want to keep cashing out, refining your house. Go, but I can get a loan at 3%. It's awesome. We're just not those people. I believe in being as debt-free as possible, especially going into retirement where most people are living on some kind of fixed income.
Yeah, absolutely. And even those 401k loans, get rid of those.
This article says, look at debt on your fixed income. See?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Great minds think alike. Who wrote this article? Me and Bob and Benjamin.
It was from Forbes.
All think alike. Look at us. I could get my picture up next to these guys.
Right.
A triple decker.
Great team. Oh, and another point I like that you've also recommended to clients on occasion is re-amortization or your loan recasting on your mortgage.
Oh, recasting is awesome, right?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
And guess what? No one's ever heard of that, right? Everyone's heard of a refi. You know, refi says go do a bunch of paperwork, get a new interest rate, pay a bunch of fees.
Right. That's not a good idea.
Hot diggity dog. So there's a really cool thing for people who want to pay down debt on their house. See, the problem with just paying down your mortgage, making a principal reduction payment is what? There's no instant gratification. You give them whatever, 10 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever the number is. And the very next month, your mortgage payment is still the same. And the existing years on your mortgage have just been shortened. So maybe if you had 25 years left on your loan, you make a big payment. Maybe there's only 22 years left on the loan, but you make the same payment. Conversely, when we're dealing with cash flow in retirement, which is important, right? Cash flow is 2 ways. When you're retired, it's money coming in and it's money going out. And Tana and I are always trying to manage people's cash flow. A recast is where you make a principal reduction payment. Generally, there's no fees, there's no cost. You keep your existing loan, you keep your existing interest rate. But what it does is it keeps the same amount of amortized years on the loan. And instead of just shortening the years on the loan, what it does is it drops your next monthly payment.
Right.
So maybe, like, great example. I had someone last year do a recast with $100,000. The very next month, their mortgage payment was $700 less. I then said, okay, well, wait a second. Let's think about the math on this thing. I'm saving $700 a month of cash flow. If I times that by 12, that's $8,400 a year. I divide that by what I invested in. That's an 8.4% cash flow off of this principal reduction payment. That's a phenomenal cash flow. The math made a whole lot of sense for those people. That was, you know, where else could you invest $100 grand to generate that much guaranteed cash flow?
Yeah, good point.
Good luck. Good luck. What movie am I thinking? Oh, that was from Taken. Remember Liam Neeson, his kids under the bed getting stolen?
Oh, that's like an intense movie, especially for a mom.
Good luck.
That's scary. I don't want
what?
Somebody going after your child, kidnapping, all that stuff.
I'm a dad. It was
well, I know, but I'm
scared of my kids walking to Phil Park that they're going to get taken.
So true. It's just so scary. On your walks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. And I even just recently increased my mortgage payment. And it wasn't even that much, but I was so shocked that it's actually going to shave. I know. I just said 2 words.
What's it going to do?
I combined. I'm sorry. Shave off
we need
5 years
to bleep that
of my mortgage.
Get yourself under control.
Payments, and also save me about $35,000 in interest. So it was very cool.
Yeah,
Very
but
cool.
these are all good conversations. And like I said, the challenge is a lot of financial folks like me and Tana, they kind of play the opposite. If you have 100 grand in cash, they don't go tell you to pay off your mortgage. They say, oh, let me invest it for you.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to make you so much money and then it's going to be all better. I see
No.
a lot of stuff is self-serving, right? You know, when I'm telling someone to use their cash to pay off their mortgage, Tana, do I benefit from that?
No, you do not.
Do I get a big fat commission from doing that?
No.
No, I don't. So, you know, I mean, seems to
Yeah.
me that's got to be pretty good advice when it's pretty objective and doesn't serve me on any level.
Absolutely.
Woohoo! Well, geez, that was only number 2
I
on
know,
your
that was
thing, and we're already 10 minutes into this. So this is
We
going to
can
be a
keep the
3-week
pace a little
show.
faster.
3-week show.
We'll pick it up.
Well, you
The
had to
other-
like, okay, go.
The
Shoot.
other idea is to prepare for health insurance.
Yeah. What a mess.
It's very expensive, you know, when you're leaving an employer group health plan because of involuntary or voluntary retirement.
Right.
So keep in mind, you know, if you go on COBRA to kind of bridge that gap before Medicare, that's a great way to do that.
Yeah.
As well as, you know, look at the healthcare marketplace, see if you can find a plan. I can also help you with that. See if there's something that's more affordable than COBRA. Sometimes COBRA is more expensive. But if you are over the age of 65 and you do retire early, you want to switch over to Medicare and not COBRA because you'll get penalized. And it's a permanent penalty
that's
once you switch over to Medicare. So keep that in mind. If you're already at the age of 65, no COBRA, not a good idea.
Did you see this statistic in here? Fidelity estimates a typical American couple will spend $300,000 on copays, premiums,
It's a
and
lot of
uncovered
money.
medical expenses. So that's TIFI.
Yeah.
That's hearing
No.
aids.
TV.
TIFI.
Oh, teeth. I'm all
tooth.
TV.
Not TV. That's a separate cost.
Yes, dental
Tooth.
implants is a big thing
So
for
expensive.
people in that age group.
This
Yep.
isn't even this projection isn't even covering long-term care or anything. This is just saying how
Correct.
much it costs just to get through a typical statistical retirement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, them tooth are expensive. That's why here in Ventura we don't advocate for teeth.
No, absolutely. And then if you have an opportunity to contribute to an HSA plan, definitely do that.
Well,
that is a
yeah.
great way to save some money. And
It's nice, right?
yeah,
Because save money, grows tax-free. If you take
Exactly.
it out for healthcare, it comes out tax-free, so you get the tax-free growth. Kind of
exactly.
like a Roth.
Yeah,
Kind of nice. You can even
absolutely.
use an HSA to pay for Medicare premiums.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the money will get used one way or another. Now,
Exactly.
to be fair, if I had to play devil's advocate, though, I'm first an advocate of you maximizing your retirement accounts before maximizing your HSA.
Right.
You know, because sometimes people can't maximize everything. And so
Sure.
it's kind of this question
point.
of when and where should I
Right.
put money? Well, there's obviously a lot more flexibility with the retirement account on when and where you can use it.
Mhm.
So funding your 401k, funding your Roth 401k, funding
Mhm.
an IRA, all that kind of stuff. Those are all unique conversations to the individual, depending on your tax bracket, depending on your income, depending would dictate when and where we would put money in those places. So
Mhm.
certainly worth a conversation with your financial planner. This is a silent moment for the podcast people because I'm pointing at myself and I'm pointing at Tana on the screen. You know, if you have questions about that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
reach out to your financial planners.
Absolutely.
Pointing again. Yeah. Okay.
Well, and we just had a client call. Let's see, she's in her late 40s. He's in his early 50s. He passes away, and she has a lot to deal with. So definitely reach out to us. We can help you walk through that process. It's a tough place to be.
But it speaks to what this whole conversation is about, and that is unexpected. Yeah, maybe
Right.
retirement, but just life events are
Exactly.
unexpected. Things happen.
Right.
And you got to be able to adjust to those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're right. She's in a very challenging spot because, you know, once again, he was a big breadwinner. You're getting
Right.
into health insurance issues and you got adult children who need college. There's a lot of
Yes.
moving parts there.
Definitely.
Planning. Okay. Understand your retirement income options. So I thought that this was an interesting section. It's a bigger section, I guess, relative to the other ones, but there's a couple caveat things here. Number one, it mentions the word Social Security.
Mhm.
Then it mentions the words required minimum distributions. Now, this is funny. We do a boatload of this planning. This is really what our focus is with retirement income planning is how do you take someone's assets, their social security benefit, their investment accounts, their rental property, are they working part-time? How much do they own their mortgage? How do we take all of these tea leaf puzzle pieces that you have, and how do we formulate a picture so that you have a healthy, comfortable income, number one, an income that is tax efficient, number two, and also an income and cash flow that is protected against the craziness of life. Ever heard of inflation? I haven't. And what if taxes go up? And what if a spouse dies? And what if you need long-term care? And what happens when the weasel kid gets arrested? And all of that kind of stuff there's a lot that goes into income cash flow planning. Sorry, you got me all fired up. You didn't even like, I feel like I just steamrolled this whole conversation there.
No, this is good.
So what's interesting though, is a big failure of what we see with cash flow planning is people they look at taxes as a byproduct. Tana and I look at taxes as the forefront, most important thing that you're planning around and making decisions based on the concept of taxes. For example, Social Security. Over 60% of people take Social Security at 62. Over 60%. And guess what? I have another article here. I could actually flip on it. It's a secret article no one knows about. I have it over here. You didn't know I was going to take.
I know, you didn't share it.
I don't have to make stuff up. I literally have the receipts to prove it. Most retirees wait till they hit 72 to pull their required minimum distributions.
Right.
This is a giant study from, where was it from? It's from the Employee Benefit Research Institute. 23 million accounts were identified. Anyways, going back to the other article. So most people wait till 72 to pull out their really taxable money. So let's think about this. I'm 62. I just retired. So I'm going to run out and I'm going to take Social Security, the only tax favorable thing I have, because Social Security in most states is completely tax-free and it's only partially taxable to the feds.
Right.
So I'm going to run out and take that early. I want it as small as it's tax efficient. I want it as small as possible. Makes a lot of genius sense. Now my taxable account, my 401k IRA, I'm going to defer that though. Why would I want to start chipping away at the tax liability? I want that as big as possible. I want a giant tax mess. So I'm going to let that thing roll and roll and roll and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then at 72, I'll tap into that account. Most people really screw up cash flow planning. What most people should be doing, and once again, this is a generalized comment. This is not everybody. We need to look at your numbers. We need to understand your situation. But in the big scheme of things, I have a lot of people doing heavier distributions of their retirement account in earlier years of retirement while delaying Social Security. Ultimately, you end up with maybe the same amount of income visually on paper as you would one way or another. But guess what? In my way, you end up with less tax liability over the long haul. Now, I want all of our listeners and viewers, close your eyes, pretend like you're sitting in one of my seminars, and silently raise your hand if you think taxes are going up someday. Silently. I close my eyes too. I'm not even looking. You know what? It's your secret. But if you think taxes are going up someday, then we obviously have something real to talk about. Because if you listen to 60+% of your friends, I hate to be rude, they're all idiots.
No.
Well, they are from a Social Security timing standpoint. You know, there are situations where it makes sense to take it early. If you have health issues, if you do not have the assets to support the cash flow that you need, there are certainly reasons. But out of that 60% of people that take Social Security early, remember, I deal with this. Tana deals with this all day long. Most of those people, it is a failure of understanding how to cash flow money in retirement, period.
Yes, absolutely.
Whew.
Very good point.
All right, your turn. I'm quiet now.
All right, the next point is practicing retirement. Practicing your retirement spending now.
I love this one.
Yes, I do too. It's really something very important to think about. Over the next year, you should track your spending, whether it's on a daily, which is even more cool to look at.
Oh, that's tough.
How many times do you swipe that card and how easy it is to do so?
Yeah.
As opposed to your monthly expenses.
Right.
But it'll give you a realistic picture of what your income is going to look like in retirement.
But Tana's spot on. We actually talk to people about this all the time. And if you're retiring next year and your plan is to live on $50,000 of income,
right?
But you can't do it now, then how the heck are you going to do it when you don't have the income? Like, come on.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, practice what you preach, because if you can't live on it now, granted, I realize there's caveat issues. Maybe I'm retiring next year and my mortgage will be paid off. And so, there's these pluses and minuses, but in concept, if you can't figure out how to manage your personal expenses on whatever you think your fixed income is in retirement, if you can't do it now while you're working and making plenty of money, then how are you going to do it when you're retired?
Right. Or also
good.
We also run into clients that are trying to help their children out financially when they're trying to retire. And that is just a really big hit on what they've saved.
Right. And every situation's unique. And there's some people that can do that. And there's just some people that shouldn't be doing that will do it anyways.
But we should have a plan. We should definitely look it over.
But remember, when your 40-year-old kid can't help themselves, who's going to help you?
Yeah. Good point.
So just saying.
Yeah. We got to be careful about that. I mean, it's important to help our children, but we also have to be careful about how much and when.
Yeah. This next one's interesting, right? Did you take out a COVID hardship withdrawal? So due to the CARES Act last year, you were allowed to take out up to $100,000 out of your retirement account, even if you were not 59 and a half. So there was no penalty. You still have to pay the tax. The problem was you could spread that tax over 3 years.
Right.
So that's doing a few things to people, right? Number one is, does that accidentally hammer you extra hard on taxes over the next couple of years because it felt good in the moment? Now you're dealing with the consequence of it. But two is, I think the point of this article from Forbes is saying that you also need to be conscious that if you just pulled out a boatload of money out of your retirement account, what does that mean for you later in life? Do you need to work a little longer?
Right.
Do you need to save a little more? What is the thing that you do to get yourself back on track?
Caught up.
Because when the national average 401k is at an all-time high, like, I don't know, it's like 140 grand or something. People might have hammered their accounts here trying to deal with the chaos of COVID last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So something to be considerate of is tax consequences. We do tax planning here at the Lynn Group. So we got our in-house tax guy. You guys have seen him on the show before.
He's so great.
If you do have tax questions. He does my taxes and Tana's taxes.
Yep.
And so I have an attitude that if he's capable of doing mine, he's capable of doing yours.
I totally agree.
Not Tana's. Tana's are way complicated. She has all these like things in the Cayman Islands and Sweden, and her husband flies private jets for Russian oligarchs. We can only imagine what they're up to. We can only imagine. They pay him literally in baggies of diamonds.
No, they don't.
Tana, hold your hands up. I got to see all the rings.
I'm empty.
You knew I was going to do that. That was very clever of you.
On my toes.
Funny. Reassess your post-crisis risk tolerance. So people are funny creatures, right? We all like risk when the market goes up.
Right.
We hate risk when the market goes down. Last year was the worst stock market drop of anybody's lifetime. We have never in the history of the world had a almost 40% correction in a matter of 5 weeks. That was pretty big. I've met a lot of people. Tana's met a lot of people that accidentally party foul, sold at the bottom and didn't get back in. They did the same thing. If you got through that cycle, then you panicked and sold before the election and didn't get back in. People have a problem when the market goes down. The panic ensues. It's better with a whiteboard, so I'm going to try this on the God, I wonder if there's a way we could write on here. So I always look at the stock market when you're talking about timing the stock market of getting and getting out like a roller coaster. So let's all close our eyes again. This is nice. We need like the little bong. We should have some kind of Zen time here. Think about a roller coaster, right? What does most roller coasters do? They tick, tick, tick slowly up towards the top, tick, tick, nice and friendly. So would you rather would you rather unbuckle and get off a roller coaster while it's slowly ticking to the top? Tick, tick, tick. Or would you rather wait till we're going in circles and flying around at 100 miles an hour to say, great time to unbuckle and see what happens? I mean, you'll at least probably lose a shoe.
Yeah.
Maybe a hat, maybe a wallet, but maybe something else. I don't know. But that's the problem with people, right? Is when the market is stable, when it is boring, when it is relatively friendly, like it is right now, nobody wants to be out of the market. I have this conversation with people all the time. Nobody wants to be out of the market. Well, it's doing really well. The market's up 20% this year. It could keep going. I don't want to lose out anything, but how come when it's down 30% after a month last year, I'm in the trenches fighting people to death to not sell it. Let's sell it all. Like, psychology in this stuff is
Mhm.
very overwhelming for people.
Definitely.
And this is a much better time. Right now, the roller coaster is ticking up. This is a great time to consider your risk tolerance, to
Mhm.
consider your retirement plans. Hence why you have people like me and Tana to help you make these good, healthy decisions. Food for thought.
Mhm. I like it.
Sorry, I feel
That's
like
okay. That's important. It's
this is
absolutely
like
important.
this stuff's my life. It's my life. Like if you like talk to like my neighbor about football, it'd be the same conversation.
Right? And that
I got
animated
nothing to
too.
say, and they're like just just going off, and I just have to keep saying, yeah, what? Yeah, I agree. Anyways,
And I'm a big fan of this next one.
Are you?
Yes, I envision myself also doing this. So consider part-time work for retirement. Absolutely. I feel like, maybe not just cutting out cold
Yeah.
turkey out of the market or out of the workplace, but maybe phasing out over time, reducing your work hours,
Right.
or changing up your work schedule, maybe only working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
give you a longer weekend, things like that to really increase your quality of life, but also continue to bring in some income.
Mm-hmm. And you might even end up with a little health insurance or
Mhm.
something there as an additional
Absolutely.
benefit. Oh, but one of the biggest points that is so important to us is obviously there's this financial and this emotional side to a lot of the things that we discuss with clients. And so making money, not having to pull out much out of your investments, all of that
Mhm.
stuff is very relevant. But there's also a level of stimuli that is healthy with work, right? Just kind of getting up,
Definitely.
getting moving, getting your little mind function,
Exactly.
trying to explain to someone how that little faucet thing at Lowe's hooks on, and so they can go home and get it, whatever the thing is that kind of gets your mind firing off, your
So
synapses or
true.
whatever. That's good for you.
Yeah.
Now, there's an opposite argument to that, and is I don't want you in retirement doing work that causes you any decent amount of stress.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Because stress is a killer, right? We don't want you
Yeah.
stressed out, sad, upset.
Mhm.
Life is about being fun. So if you have a part-time job, you're down there, you know what? I don't know what, renting out the boogie boards at the beach or something. Whatever the deal is, do something
Yeah.
that you enjoy.
I
That way it's
agree.
entertaining. Otherwise, go
Absolutely.
find another part-time job. And these days there's jobs everywhere, it seems. Okay, last one. This one I proposed to Tana specifically is I don't think you should ever quit working. So that I can retire early. Where's that
Yeah.
one? Number 11, Mike retires early, so Tana keeps working.
I'll keep the show going.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. But this is a good one, right? It kind of feeds off of the work part-time thing, though, is
Yeah.
if you took COVID distributions, if things have changed, if unfortunately you lost a loved one, that changes your financial outlook. The reality is a lot of people do need to consider maybe
Yeah.
working another year or two, or even a little longer. It's once again, what's tough about these kind of articles is everybody's situation, even though we're all in the
Yeah.
same boat,
So
we all have the
different.
same goals, they're all really different,
Mhm.
depending on what you've done and where you've been and the things you going on and the circumstances. I mean, honestly, we were just meeting with someone the other day who unfortunately has an adult child who has developed some very strong mental health issues. And this is rescaping everything
Right.
that we knew about that client's potential retirement,
Mhm.
how they provide the care and concern for that child. So there's a lot there. Geez, I'm like emotionally exhausted after this. I don't know what we
You just
were
ran a
talking.
marathon.
Do you ever go to our YouTube page, by the way?
Yeah.
I've been loading the clips, like for some reason in like the last 4 clips, like video clips we have, it's like you like full blown laughing.
I know.
It's
Why
really
is that?
funny
Every
looking.
single time it catches
I'm
me.
very it's an inside joke we have going now. Like I'm very
Oh,
specifically
great.
trying, and I always have my hands up too. I've noticed
Your pterodactyl
it's like
hands. Oh, that is awesome. But yes, I did notice that. I was going to ask you about that, but now I know.
Well, I just thought that people wanted to see your smiling face, I guess. So, anyways, hey, I think that's good enough for now. We've
Yes.
gone on long enough. We love all our listeners.
Yeah.
So, please subscribe to our podcast. Please subscribe to us on our videos on YouTube and Rumble. If you have questions about the show, any questions, thoughts, concerns, feel free to give us a call, 805-500-7035. Our main website is thelindgroup.com. Lind is LYND. But hey, give us a call. We'll have a complimentary consultation. We can help you, guide you on some of this fun stuff. This is what we do. This is what we're here for.
Yeah.
And also, if you have any opinions on what we could be talking about in the show, things you'd like us to cover, please don't hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, everyone have a great week.